Hey, what's up? I'm Steve Bradley from Format QA. And fellas, if my last whole cool move didn't help you get any ladies, I got a for sure thing with this one. I'm going to show you how to defeat the first half of Leader without being touched. Alright, here I am in the final battle with Leader, right after I get my Hulk powers back. Now, as soon as you get your Hulk powers back, what you want to do is run for the nearest elevator and hide behind it. Now pretty much during the whole first half of the battle with Leader, you can pretty much stay back here and then just come out swinging every time he comes around. Now if he gets on the other side, what you want to do is just go ahead and run to the elevator across the room and hide behind the corner again. Now this will protect you from any ray that he shoots out or anything he throws at you.
Can you beat us all? Can you escape me? You've come so far, and yet you're so easy to beat. Serve me or die! And now, Hulk, you will die!
Alright fellas, there you go. Now if you're still having trouble getting ladies doing this cool move, you're obviously beyond my help. Peace out.
Hi, my name is Saul, and today I'm going to show you a cool move for the game Downhill Domination. In this cool move, I'm going to show you a big shortcut in the track Salt City, USA, TD. Let me show you how it's done. Start off this race by heading down this garage here. Just go down the floors. Don't bother with the stairwell, it's just going to slow you down. Just keep going down the floor by floor and take the exit here, and you want to go down the staircase right here. Head over this grassy area and start going down the staircase right here. Now what you want to do is jump off the bridge right here, and you want to go in this little door and just continue down the staircase. Head out here, and what you want to do to avoid all these concrete structures is just go this way, the way that I'm showing you. And just continue along with the rest of the track. And as you can see, I'm a lot farther than the competition by using those big shortcuts right there. So remember, the beginning of that shortcut is going to be that little jump off that bridge right there. Good luck and enjoy the rest of the race. Hi, my name is Saul, and today I'm going to show you a cool move for the game Downhill Domination. In this cool move, I'm going to show you a big shortcut in the track Salt City, USA, FR. Let me show you how it's done. Alright, from the beginning of the track, just what you want to do is just follow the street and slow down a bit right here. It's kind of narrow, it's really easy to get in an accident. And always try to get those boost icons, they'll speed you up. You can see I'm already in first place. And work your way over these buildings right here on the rooftops. And if you fall off, don't worry about it, you can just go around them. And see, back on top. And here's where the big shortcut comes. What you want to do is look for a Mountain Dew sign and do not go up the little ramp. What you want to do is you want to just veer off here and this takes you inside the garage. And you get to skip a couple floors. Take the boost. And just keep racing on. Pick up the power-ups and just keep going down the hill. And as you can see, I'm already in first place again. So remember, the start of that big shortcut is going to be right before you see that Mountain Dew sign. Do not take that little ramp and instead make a hard left and go into the garage right there. Have fun and enjoy the rest of the race.
Hi, my name's Sandra Mitchell, and I have a cool move for you for Final Fantasy X submitted by Gamer Advisory Panel member Nick Watson. I'm going to show you how to heal your elemental aeons. Okay, when you have Yuna selected, you want to go ahead and summon one of your elemental aeons. I'll use a unicorn. Takes a while for them to come out. Okay, you're gonna attack the monster. He'll attack you back if you don't die. You can go ahead and use your black magic. You want to use Thunder or Thundara, which is the element that you are. Lightning, Thunder. And instead of using it on the monster, use it on your Aeon. And it should heal your life. So that's how you heal your elemental Aeons. Thanks, Nick. You're a cool guy.
Hi, my name's Steve Bradley. I'm from Format QA. I'm bringing you a cool move brought to you by a Gamer Advisory Panel member named Jake Romy. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's a cool move for Vice City. It shows you a hidden room that has a little surprise in it for you. All right, what you want to do is start out in front of the 810 VCN building. What you want to do is go inside and go to the roof. All right, once you're on the roof, you want to go to the top of the helipad. You want to walk to the building closest to the helipad that's on the other side. Now, the easy way to find this hidden area is to have a weapon that you can aim, because the bullets will not ricochet in the area that you can jump through the wall. All right, once you find the area, what you want to do is you want to run straight and jump off the end of the building. You go right through the wall. And there's your little Easter egg. All right, now you found your Easter egg. And remember, ladies, as always, this is dedicated to you. Hi, I'm Steve Bradley. I'm bringing you a cool move brought to you by a Gamer Advisory Panel member, Rodrigo Munoz Altia. I'm going to show you how to defeat the two twin bosses at the end of Silent Hill 2. Alright, now here I am standing outside the door of the two twin monsters at the end of the game. Now what you want to make sure you have in your inventory before you get to this point to do this cool move, you need to have the Great Knife. You find that in the labyrinth right before you fight the monster that's attacking Angela. Alright, next what you want to do is just go through the door. Now you're going to see an FMV play. I'm going to go ahead and bypass it. Run past the two monsters towards the door that you came in. Run to a corner, flip around, equip the Great Knife, and start swinging. Now what will happen is that the Great Knife will bounce off the wall and come straight back, striking both monsters. before you know it, you've just defeated one of the hardest bosses in the game. Now this is especially good to know, especially if you're playing on the hard mode. And there you go. Alright, and that's how you defeat the 2 twin bosses at the end of Silent Hill 2. Thank you, Rodrigo, for bringing us this cool move. This is Steve Bradley, signing off.
Long ago, an evil lord terrorized the world of Vana'diel until the 4 nations came together to defeat him. Now, in the year 863, rumors of a resurrection are afoot. This time it will take the strength of an online video gaming community to defeat him in Final Fantasy XI.
Final Fantasy XI has a huge storyline that is quite sophisticated. Although everybody is playing through the overall game for themselves, we created Final Fantasy XI so that people could journey with other people and experience the world together, and they become part of the story itself.
The way that we accomplished our dream to bring the world of Final Fantasy into an online game is that we put in a system of missions and quests in which the story is told through. You get to hear about the story in parts, and then you gradually get to view parts of the whole story that makes up the background of Final Fantasy XI.
When you start the game, you can choose between 3 countries, the Kingdom of Sandoria, the Republic of Bastuk, and the Federation of Windhurst. Each country presents you with a different perspective of the world, so you learn about the story from your town's perspective until eventually everyone ends up in Juneau, the 4th country, and you get the full breadth of the storyline there.
Heroes come in many shapes and sizes, and you must decide what type of hero you want to be.
When you actually enter Final Fantasy XI, the first thing you do is create your avatar or a representation of yourself in this world. So you can select from different races. There's Hume, Elven, Taru, Mithra, and Galka.
Well, the first race that you can choose from is the Elvan. The Elvan are tall and are actually very strong, and they are more of the warrior or fighter type of people. Then we have the Hume. This is the most common race in the world of Vana'diel. If you ask what their features are, they look like us. They are good at everything but don't excel at anything. So they are just balanced and equal in all areas. And next we have the Galka, who are also found in the Republic of Bastuk. They are extremely strong, and they live up to 200 years old.
With the Taru, we decided to create a race that was small and cute. Some people mistake them for children, but they are adults. But don't underestimate them, because they could be powerful wizards.
In the Federation of Windhurst, we have the Mithra. At first, everyone thinks that there are only females because that's all you can choose to play. There are actually male Mithra that exist in the world, but they are very few and far between. They look sort of like cats. A lot of Japanese players actually expect that there will be male Mithra made available eventually. Whether or not that's true, it's not known, but that's what the Japanese public is looking forward to.
But peace no longer is the norm in Vana'diel. The Kingdom of Sandoria, the Republic of Bastuk, and the Federation of Windhurst all vie for control of the outlying lands, affecting all of its surroundings.
Well, first of all, you might ask why there are 3 countries or 3 kingdoms in this world. Having 3 countries allows you to have each country with its own set of values. And that set of values changes the perspective of how they view the world.
The 3 major countries are fighting over who possesses the land. And the conquest is basically that the countries can fight over the land and see who can gain the most resources. And that affects the gameplay too. The country that you choose to start out in could be winning or losing the conquest, and that will affect how the country appears and what type of items they are selling. We made the conquest system so that people can work together in order to interact, get those extra items or extra things for their country to make it easier for each other.
Whether you fight for your country or fight for yourself, enemies abound. You must learn to defend yourself and your friends.
This time, the battle system is different from previous offline games because in those offline games, you fight by yourself, and you go through the story and you see an ending by yourself. Well, this time, you are fighting or participating in battles with other people from all around the world, so the battle system had to reflect this. We wanted to create it so that you can chat with people while you're fighting. So we made it once you choose to fight, it begins an auto-fighting sequence so that you can chat with your friends while you are battling. But it's not that simple. All the battle abilities and magic that you can use have to be timed. And if you join forces together and cooperate with players to time your attacks together, you can perform special chain attacks. So if you can time them right, it does a lot of extra damage than if you were just fighting by yourself.
One cannot succeed in this world alone. You must seek out help from others and form powerful alliances.
In Japanese, we use the word kizuna, that basically translates to be connections or bonds between people. And that is the basis of Final Fantasy XI.
In the Final Fantasy Online experience, up to 6 people can form a party and travel together. And when you collect people and form a party, you tend to gather people who will play different roles to have a balance. You allocate the roles in order to battle in a more effective manner. But then to defeat large-scale bosses or to complete large-scale missions, you can form an alliance of up to 3 parties, so you can have up to 18 people fighting together.
But if an alliance is to be successful, you must be a valued member of the team, so choose your role wisely.
Initially, you can choose from 6 jobs. You can start off with warriors, monks, white, black, and red mages, and thieves.
In the Final Fantasy XI world, there's a thing called a Mog House, which is like your private sanctuary that allows you to change your job at will. There's no limit to when and how you can change jobs. So originally you can start off by switching any of the 6 jobs freely. Then, when you get to level 18, there are special quests that you can do to gain support jobs.
In most online games, if you're just a warrior, you're the same warrior as everyone else, but you just have a higher level that makes you different from other people. So in Final Fantasy XI, we decided to add a support job. It allows you to be a warrior that can also cast magic, or a warrior that can easily find rare items, or a warrior who can summon beasts from another world.
If I give away too much, please ignore me. But when you get to level 30, you will discover that there are extra jobs that are made available. And these are sort of hidden in the game, and that you can do special quests to achieve the right to be able to take on those jobs. So look out for them in the game.
The vast online world of Final Fantasy XI is the beginning of an RPG gaming revolution. There is much more to this story. New devices and surprises must be revealed. In due time, the rest will be told.
An ancient Japanese garden. The undead lurking behind every corner. And a night that would change these people's lives forever. With their blood soon to turn white, their hair about to go gray, this group of journalists have arrived at a mysterious Japanese tea garden for a nighttime scavenger hunt to celebrate the launch of Tecmo's highly anticipated horror game, Fatal Frame 2: Crimson Butterfly. Do you see dead people? Lots of dead people? So do Mayu and Mayo, the young female stars of Crimson Butterfly. With only a highly powerful sixth sense to guide them and a special device called the camera obscura, the girls are able to fight and capture ghosts by photographing them.
It's basically the story of two young twin sisters who find themselves trapped in a lost village that has disappeared from all maps because of a tragedy that occurred during a ritual many years ago. And it's the story of these two girls as they are trying to escape alive from this village.
The ancient forest setting filled with ghosts, spooks, and a horde of frightened journalists was the perfect setting to introduce a real-life Ghostbuster. Meet Northern California's own Professor Paranormal. Before the hunt began, the professor enthralled the crowd with a few magic tricks and ghost stories.
Some of those experiences involved spiritual forces. And to this day, the owner is still trying to figure out whether or not the stories about a crimson butterfly are true.
With the extrasensory power of his mystical Ouija board, Professor Paranormal paired people up for the evening's main event, the scavenger hunt. The teams were then equipped with the very same devices Fatal Frame 2 players use in the game, flashlights and a camera. Just like the sisters Mayu and Mayu from Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly, teams of two were sent on a quest through an eerie setting and encountered a cache of things that do a lot more than just go bump in the night. The original Fatal Frame created a wonderful mythology for itself, but for this installment, the game's designers looked for a story rooted in the past to push the game into the future.
Speaking from a chronological time frame, the second game actually takes place 30 years before the first, and we have basically the two twins from a modern time period find themselves lost in this village in the past. And there will be some connections with the first game. People will recognize some of these characters. Also, there will be background in the game that will kind of tie it in with the first game.
By emphasizing situation and presentation, and working atmosphere and mood in concert with the player's own imagination, Fatal Frame 2's designers have tapped into one of the most surefire ways to instill fear in the player.
Well, I think the reason that we were successful in creating atmosphere and terror is by creating horror that appeals to the imagination. For instance, we took the character models and the enemy models and things that were made in the computer, and instead of just putting them into the game as they were, all nice and neat, we purposefully added noise and filters on top of it to make it hard to see so that people would wonder, what's there, what's coming after me. And then we also recognize sound is a very important part of this game.
Having spent the majority of his time lately recreating the dark and shadowy world of those no longer among the living, Kikuchi explained what truly frightens him.
Personally, I think that the scariest thing for me is probably being alone. That includes, of course, death, but it also includes, being by yourself and not having anyone else around you. And I think that's something that's scary for everybody.
Awash with fright and exhilaration after combing the woods and encountering a few ghouls along the way, attendees were in the perfect mood to give Fatal Frame 2 a try. But only in the safety of their rooms. As dawn arose and sunlight shattered an evening filled with fun and excitement, the following morning prizes were awarded to the winners, as well as those who advanced the farthest in the game. With their wits about them and raves all around, this group of trick-or-treaters gave the game and the weekend overwhelmingly good reviews.
Everybody in the room screamed out loud, and we're all grown men.
I don't think you can make better atmosphere in any game. It was totally scary.
Just a cool little way to get the whole Fatal Frame experience.
There was a period when gaming was going through a time of change, a time of upheaval, a time of revolution. Make that a Konami revolution. This Japanese video game publisher foresaw a turn in the tide of how gamers would play in the future. The first signs of this sea change in gaming came from the music genre, namely Dance Dance Revolution and Karaoke Revolution.
The environment was changing. Gamers' tastes were changing. They were getting tired of a lot of the same old games. They wanted something new. At the time, dance music and music in general was very popular among the teen market. Dance Dance Revolution was kind of the catalyst blending video games with this growing popularity of music, engaging people in a whole new way, bringing not only visual interactivity but also physical interactivity.
So it gets kids up off the couch and actually dancing. Karaoke Revolution is an extension of the Dance Dance Revolution series in that it innovates using a different type of input than the typical controllers. Dance Dance Revolution was something that in Japan started in the arcades, came to the United States as an arcade game, and we brought the Dance Dance Revolution series to the PlayStation console.
This opened up a whole new level because people can now do it from the comfort of their own home. And now we're 5 releases later, we're now just releasing DDR Max 2 Dance Dance Revolution for PlayStation 2. To play Dance Dance Revolution, it's really easy. All you need is a PlayStation or a PlayStation 2 and this special dance pad peripheral hooks in just like any other standard controller. The way that the dance steps are programmed are based on the timing of the music. When the scrolling arrows cross those permanent arrows, at the very top, that's your cue as the player to step on the corresponding arrow on the dance pad. But it's really that simple. No one would have ever thought that sending arrows up on a screen would be something that people would enjoy, but it's the actual physical interactivity which makes this game so unique and has created all of this, kind of frenzy and phenomenon.
In the evolution of this revolution, there came a time when it needed to expand from the ground up, from the toe tap to the headset.
We decided to take the Revolution brand one step further. If anyone's going to do a karaoke game, it would be Konami, just because we had such a dominance in the music gaming genre.
And we've extended that brand by coming out with a new game called Karaoke Revolution. And similar to Dance Dance Revolution, where you're dancing, in this game you're actually using a microphone and you're singing.
This USB headset microphone, which is something that already exists for the PlayStation 2, detects your voice, and through proprietary software that Konami and Harmonix have created, the game detects how closely you hit the notes for particular lyrics and how in rhythm you are to those lyrics.
We chop up the songs into phrases, and we rate each phrase. So if you sing a phrase very well, you'll get a rating. And based on your rating, you're assigned a score, and also the crowd will react. You know, the game is all about having fun. So if you're not a great singer, you can get in, kind of dial the difficulty down to easy, really have a great time. If you want a challenge and you're a great singer, you can ramp up the difficulty yourself.
And when it comes to what songs you want to sing along with, you get a lot of choices.
Karaoke Revolution comes with 35 hit songs, songs that anybody will recognize.
We tried to touch a lot of different music genres, everything from pop, rock, dance, new hits to, hits of the 80s, the 70s, classics. So you can sing, a brand new hit by someone like Michelle Branch or Avril Lavigne. There's really something in there for everybody.
Getting all these songs into the game took a lot of work, but it pays off when the original artists have a go at Karaoke Revolution.
We had to actually record cover versions of the songs for various reasons. But I've heard that OPM has been a little sneaky and brought in some of the artists to actually try out the game with the original singers, which I think is great.
It's always a little strange when you hear someone impersonating you, but I'm excited to see how well I'm going to do against the Jim Blossom's vocalist impersonator. I'm going to try and kick his butt.
Tomorrow we drive around this town and let the cops chase us around. The past is gone, something might be found to take its place. Hey, jealousy.
Slightly different than what I remember doing.
Well, I'm really excited that Hey Jealousy is on Karaoke Revolution. It's like being on one of those greatest hits records of the 90s or something like that. And it just secures the song's place in pop culture history.
In the ever-changing world of pop culture, it's important to learn from history. But if you've got a revolution going on, you need to focus on the future. And you better believe the folks at Konami have an eye on the next step in gaming experiences, featuring specialized peripherals like the dance pad and the USB headset for PlayStation 2.
The music game genre is a really kind of relatively new genre, and I think we've only begun to tap into the types of things you can do with music and games.
You're going to see more things like Karaoke Revolution coming out where it's taking typical experiences that people are used to and applying that into an interactive gaming experience.
Both of these games are definitely, I think, a sign of something to come in the future where we rely more on specialized controllers that enhance the gaming experience. In the future, people might look back to games like Dance Dance Revolution and Karaoke Revolution as pioneers of a new style of gaming.
The good news for all gamer types is that the Konami Revolution will most definitely be televised. There are so many things that go into making a great video game, such as the storyline, gameplay, or graphic environments. But all of that is useless unless the game sells off the store shelf. You may not be able to judge a book by its cover, but you better get a good idea of what a game's about when you look at the package front.
We want to be able to get the shot that excites the gamer, excites the consumer, and shows them something that they've never seen before.
I think people just don't understand the amount of effort that goes into it. This is a package that sits on a shelf with thousands and thousands of other games. And how do we attract the buyer, the consumer, to this particular package? That's the challenge.
And to meet the challenge, it takes a lot of coordination and cooperation, especially with a game like SOCOM 2 that prides itself on being authentic down to the last detail. To get the most realistic gaming experience, the developers, designers, and producers have been consulting every step of the way with the Office of Naval Special Warfare and SWIC, the boat warriors who support special operations missions. So when it came time to create the game cover for SOCOM 2, an enormous effort would be required by the PlayStation team to retain that realism while creating a dramatic and dynamic look.
There are so many opportunities here to show the game itself. We're going to try to carry it from a still image and translate that into a final product to touch the consumer.
It's a tall order that needs to be filled in a well-planned photo shoot involving a lot of people and even more equipment.
In order to make this happen, we need to have a clearance from the Navy, not only for our team that will be down there to make sure we get the shots we need, but the photographer and his crew. We need the Navy SEALs and their team. We need the Naval Public Affairs Office. Bringing all that together, it's a little complicated.
The PlayStation Underground tagged along to provide a glimpse behind the curtain of the process and procedure of creating the photo materials for an incredible game.
You know, we can talk to the Navy and say, would you guys do this? On a mission, would this be done? What kind of things would be done here?
We wanted to make sure that this didn't look like a Hollywood setup. Everything that we do here is true to how the SEALs would actually move, how they would walk, cover each other, anything and everything. For this particular package front, we are aiming to put the SEALs in the water and have them coming out of the water. So this is the final sketch that we have. This is what we're going to be trying to match as close as possible.
We're looking to capture water coming off these SEALs' faces, the urban settings, the elements, the dirt, the grime.
As a photographer, the biggest challenge is to photograph men of power. And these guys are super men of power, and I have to get emotion out of them.
But the Navy SEALs have their own idea of what the shoot is about.
I think one of the things we're really trying to concentrate on bringing here to the shoot is accuracy. You know, we've seen thousands of movies where we look at a picture and think, my God, what are they doing? That's ridiculous.
It gives America somewhat of an insight to what we do every day.
When working with Navy SEALs and SWCC personnel, the photographer must take what is given and know that that will be more than enough.
Usually when we work in the advertising world, we're faking everything. You know, we have an actor, we have a model, we have props, we have wardrobe. You come here, they have everything. They have the proper face paint, they have the proper weapons. I don't have to worry about authenticity. I just kind of had to place the people and let them go through a scenario, and they gave me more than I could ever direct them into. I got Navy SEALs, I got guns, I got boats, what more can you ask for?
When you get the real thing, people know it, and kids are a lot smarter today. They're not snowed over with the fake stuff. That people really get excited when they know that actual SEALs are on the package front.
This photo shoot has been geared towards maintaining authenticity of the Navy SEAL and SWCC experience, but state-of-the-art production techniques will be incorporated to deliver the final product.
So many elements that go into this package front. One photo is actually a composite of about 20. You have the guys, you have the water dripping, you have the city element. On top of all that, you have to drop a logo on the front, as large as it can possibly be. We're going to have to do a little bit of magic and digitally incorporate the different elements. What we're trying to do more than anything else is enhance it a little bit without losing the life of the original image.
But not so much that the original reason for using still photos is forgotten.
The reason we do this with photography and not, say, a 3D render or an illustration, there's no life there. And that's what this game has got. This game has got a lot of life. What's going to guide us on what images are going to be used when it's all said and done? Honestly, part of it is just a gut reaction. You look at the image and you say, wow, that's cool. When it's all done and you see it on the shelf, it is complete. The logos are where they need to be, the guys are where they needed to be, all the colors are dead on, and everybody's signed off on it, and it now lives and breathes on the shelf. That's probably one of the most exciting parts of the job.
Syphon filter virus is being mutated into an even more lethal form, the Omega strain.
The agency is trying to track down where the Omega strain is coming from.
Omega strain is a deadly virus that's been manufactured and now being sold throughout the world in the black market, and you guys must put a stop to it.
I will deal with him if I can find him.
We get information where there has been either viral outbreaks or we hear of an arms deal going down.
Hotspots are popping up everywhere, so be prepared. You're going to be visiting many places throughout the world. Don't think of this as a vacation.
Moving! They're coming from everywhere! Give us some cover here!
Before you go globetrotting, you better understand that not all is what it seems at the agency, and the chain of command has a few weak links.
One more thing. He was part of an agency that was a pretty legitimate agency as far as he knew. He learned that his bosses were the ones who were trying to control the Syphon filter virus for their own uses.
Gabe's had a colorful history, but now he's calling the shots and is in charge of this agency.
I'm counting on you.
Listen up, rookie. We won't let you go running off half-cocked. You need to prove yourself around here. So get yourself an identity and get in the mix.
You start out as a basic field agent who has no authority and no power and no respect.
Each agent should be distinctive, so when you see them in the field, you know who they are. As you proceed through the missions and gain levels of clearance, you unlock access to more and more customizable features.
Now that you've made yourself all pretty, it's time to grab some hardware. The armory is packed with everything you'll need, but choose wisely because you can only carry 4 weapons at a time.
The agency has over 100 weapons in their arsenal. These weapons range from handguns, pistols, to machine guns, submachine guns.
Only being able to carry 4 weapons makes it a much more interesting experience to say, okay, well, I know that I need a shotgun, a sidearm, and a hand taser for this mission.
Now, we all know that you think you're a lone wolf, hotshot. That's why we recruited you. But to make it through this ordeal, you'll probably need to hook up online with up to 3 other agents and co-op your way through 17 levels.
In multiplayer mode, the agent chooses to play online using the broadband adapter. It is basically the same mission as the single-player mission with additional components that could be unlocked through cooperative moves.
In your mission, there might be C4 lying around that you just can't see. But with a team member, if you guys lift yourself up and get that C4, it opens up a whole new ball game. There's also bonuses and unlockable items that you can only get by playing with your team members.
If you want to function efficiently as a team, you got to be hooked up with the latest communication and location devices, and the agency provides the best.
There's a variety of systems that we have in place to be able to communicate with other agents that are in the mission with you. You'll bring in headset gear, which will allow you to communicate with other agents that also have brought in headset gear.
Be careful down here.
We actually have a quick chat that we actually put into the controller with the digital pad, where you can do really quick and customized messages to your teammates.
The new 3D maps will help the agents because on the map, they're able to select objectives, and then when they return to the game, the objective will be displayed on the compass.
You're going to need a compass and a map to orienteer your way through these missions. The world you'll operate in has become much more intense and complicated.
The gameplay enhancements are incredible. Everything that we've done, we've pushed to the next level.
One of the key things that we put together is being able to tie the character with the control. It's a much more fluid system, so you're able to react to the environment.
Hopefully all of your training will enable you to react correctly, because one false move has dire consequences.
The criminals are wily, they're everywhere.
You're dealing with the best in the world, unfortunately. These guys are well-trained and lethal, and mistakes cannot be afforded on this mission.
If you want to survive and defeat these evildoers, heed these words of advice.
Learn the controls at hand and master the ability to use them. This target lock is your friend.
Watch out for the enemies, watch their movements. Know where your waypoints are, know how to cover.
Going from green to red will dramatically increase your ability to effectively deal with opponents.
Get as close as you can without, being seen, and take the stealthy approach whenever possible.
You have to really do some exploring. You have to really show some innovation. You have to be the best agent that there is.
Even if you execute all this to a T, the outcome is in doubt. Your country and the world need you to help defend and protect its inhabitants from these rogue criminal forces who want to unleash the terror of the Omega strain.
Gabe's agency is going to be dealing with any crisis that requires expertise, requires secrecy, requires know-how that only Gabe and his agents can bring.
The reason why you're here is you're the best of the best. The outbreaks have gone global and we don't have the manpower. That's why we're looking towards you to help us out. Obviously you were chosen because of your skill and your abilities, so please don't let us down.
Now you've probably heard of the Streak. We're not talking Joe DiMaggio or Cal Ripken Jr. or even the 72 Miami Dolphins. No, this is way bigger. Well, maybe. It all has to do with the game before the game. It features one representative from each Super Bowl team facing off against the other in a virtual version of the game on 989 Sports NFL Game Day, just days before the actual game. This contest is one of the marquee events of the sports and video game bonanza during Super Bowl week. In 1996, Charles Haley of the NFC's Dallas Cowboys defeated Carnell Lake of the AFC's Pittsburgh Steelers in the inaugural Game Before the Game, starting a streak that is still alive today.
We want to welcome you all here to the 8th annual Game Before the Game.
The winner of this
matchup has won the Super Bowl. 7 out of 7, which is incredible.
When Tampa Bay's Keenan McCardle defeated Oakland's Charlie Garner in last year's game, the team of the winner of this matchup has gone on to win the Super Bowl an incredible 8 times in a row.
Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Now, some may say the streak's a coincidence, but others would counter that it's the realistic gameplay that comes from the attention to detail and data collection and motion capture that goes into the game's development. NFL Game Day from 989 Sports has provided a dynamic platform for the gamer representatives of the AFC and NFC champions that is carried over onto the PlayStation 2. And make no mistake about it, these players take the game seriously.
Come on, keep!
In the stats-crazy world of the Super Bowl, the game before the game is as good an indicator of the eventual winner as there is. Be on the lookout for this year's matchup, airing live January 31st in Walmart outlets to find out if the streak continues. And you just might have the inside scoop on the winner of Super Bowl 38. For more information, go to gamingbeforethegame.com.